friends, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about my 10 takeaways from the Get Your Teach On conference that I attended in Orlando, Florida back in March. But first I got to give a shout out to my class because they're the main reason that I was able to attend the conference. We won the scholarship. You can check that video out below. So thank you to my awesome first graders. Let's start with number 10, engagement enhances. We all know everything can be a bucket of fun, but just with a little bit of changes, you can make some lessons just come to life. You may not be ready for a big room transformation, but there are some little things you can add to the lesson that would just make it a little bit more engaging and lively. Just some extra props that'll give the lesson just a little bit more excitement and have the kids more engaged and involved. Number 9, there is a difference between a worksheet and a recording sheet. And this was good to hear because a lot of times teachers get hounded about, oh, you use too many worksheets. But if you think about it, you want to make sure you're using recording sheets because that's a place where your students will log their ideas and the conclusions from whatever topics that you may be discussing with them. So that is a big difference. So don't feel so bad if you think you're making a lot of copies. Just make sure you can really look at it and differentiate. Is this a worksheet or is this a recording sheet? Number 8, do you. If you want to change your room to look like an excavation site because you think it's going to tie in well with your lesson on fossils, which it probably would, however, then do it. Don't let other teachers try to dissuade you from doing the things you want to do because you think that it would bring more excitement to the classroom, make the kids happy. And the number one thing is help the students learn. If that's what you want to do, then you do it. Or on the flip side of that, if you are that teacher that says that's a little bit too much for me, I don't think I want to do a room transformation, then don't. You do what you're comfortable with. If everyone has a different teaching style, and that's okay, and we need to be okay with that. Number 7, laugh at your mistakes. We strive to be perfect, but we know we can't do that. And it's okay. If you make a mistake in front of your kids, you're teaching a lesson and you may get something wrong, it's okay. Laugh at it, correct it, and keep it moving. There have been plenty of times, especially at the end of the school year, when the schedule is changing, I line my kids up to go to specials. All of a sudden I get halfway there and I'm like, oh wait, we don't have specials today. I turn around, the kids are like, where are we going, Miss Johnson? I'm thinking, oh, we're just taking a leisurely stroll. It's okay. And at this point, they know, did you forget we don't have specials? Yes, I did, but it's okay. Number 6, become an expert in your field. I don't think you have to go back to school, back to college, and get another degree in order to become an expert in your field. Sometimes just going to good professional development and listening to educators who are already trying out a different strategy or maybe a different curriculum or method in their classroom, that helps you become an expert in your field. So always keep learning and moving and growing. Just like we want to relay that information to our kids, the same thing applies to us. Number 5, connect everything. We have a ton of standards. I don't care what grade level you're in, you have a lot of standards. On the good side, that's a way to integrate your reading, your science, and your social studies. Everything can just fit. And when you make those connections, the kids are able to make those connections, and the concepts and the topics would just tend to stick better. That's one thing that I love when I see room transformations because I think it's a good way to integrate all of those standards into one area. Number 4, know your why. I think for seasoned teachers, you get to the point sometimes and you're thinking, what else can I use this degree for? But then you have to go back and say, okay, now why did I start this in the first place? Why did I want to educate small children? Why did I want to teach? What was my why? Go back to when you had that first year college of education feeling of I can change the world. So go back. I think that's another way that we can energize ourselves when we go back and figure out what's the why. Number 3, approximations. Deanna shared a story about how a parent reacted when work came home, especially the writing, came home and it wasn't fully corrected. And I think a lot of teachers have had that happen. Every single word needs to be changed to be spelled correctly. And it was good to hear that someone else was going through their children shutting down and not writing because they're hung up on a word that they can't spell. So that was good. Just remember, approximations are celebrated and accepted. Number 2, don't hide behind I can't. We know we are in the age of scripted programs, from reading, writing, math, just about anything that can be placed in a box we have taught. And it's not fun. It's not engaging for the kids. At least that's been my experience, that it's just not fun. But don't let that be a hindrance of you taking that and turning it into something that you know that can be engaging for your kids. We always teach our children, okay, there is a problem, but what do we do to change the problem? How can we solve the problem? And that's what you got to think of. Get away from, I can't do this fun stuff because I have a scripted writing program. There are some changes that could be made. Just look a little bit deeper. Don't hide behind that box. My number 1 takeaway from the Get Your Teacher On conference was choose joy. I know it sounds cliche, but it's so true. Wake up every morning with a smile on your face, or if you don't wake up with a smile, put one on your face before you walk out the door. You may know you're already going to have a day. You have 3 parent-teacher conferences scheduled. You already know 2 of them won't show. You have no planning. The kids need to eat in your room today. Just count it all joy. Just remember, you are in charge of the future. If you have not attended a Get Your Teacher On conference, you have to go. It is well worth it. I got a lot more out of the conference. This was just my top 10, but it was right on time. It was, you know how you need that extra boost, that little motivation to keep pushing and keep going. So you have a room full of teachers that are just on fire for learning, and it was just right on time. So if you get the opportunity to check it out, you must do it. It is well worth it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See you next time.